So the Yankees dropped the second game of a three-game series against the Boston Red Sox by a score of 7-3. This was a frustrating run too. I mean, Jamison Tyone was pretty solid across the board, and he left. I mean, it was 3-3 when he left. He got into the sixth, didn't get through it, but another workmanlike performance from him. And while his ERA is slowly coming down from the fives, but Chad Green came in and unfortunately coughed up the game was tied 3-3 and gave up 4 runs in the 8th inning to put the Red Sox up 7-3, and that's where the game ended. And there were way too many blown opportunities by the Yankees with guys on base just popping up, grounding out. They had plenty of opportunities to score runs and they didn't take advantage of it. This offense is completely out of sync. And with the exception of a Gleyber Torres 2-run home run, it was nice to see him get on board with another home run and kind of rediscover his power stroke, or at least tonight. And Chris Gitten's major league debut, they finally called him up, and they better keep him up for a little while and not send him back down after one game. I mean, he was over 3, but he drew a walk on base, and he made some pretty nice plays at first base. And Gio Urshela made some dynamic defensive plays today at third base. So it was some good defense today, but the offense is not clicking, unfortunately. And Chad Green uncharacteristically had a really bad inning. And aside from that, he's solid. Johnny Lasagna is pretty solid too. And but with that said, another disappointing loss from the Yankees. The Yankees right now they look like at best a mediocre team, even though they're 4 games over 500 still. But the American League East is a lot stronger than we thought it was going to be. The Blue Jays, the Rays, and the Red Sox all ahead of the Yankees, and all better teams right now, performance-wise, than the Yankees. Not necessarily on paper, but they're definitely playing better than the Yankees. And honestly, the Yankees are going to have to make some moves in order to be able to catch up with them and just be able to play with them and beat some of these teams, because the way that they're constructed right now, the lineup, it's not constructed in a way that's going to beat these guys on a consistent basis. Those lineups, and just with these young dynamic hitters on the Red Sox, Verdugo and Devers, and they feasted on the Yankees. And they feasted on the Yankees yesterday, and Devers again today. And it's just they have a good lineup. And again, they made some bold trades recently to get some of these young players. When they traded Betts and Price to the Dodgers, it helped the Dodgers short term, and I'm going to guess long term is out with Betts. But Verdugo was one of the pieces they brought back, and he's been really, really good for the Red Sox. So, the Yankees should not be afraid to move a major league piece to get some young talent in return. And I really hope that they're not. And honestly, it would be really, really good if they brought in some versatile players, switch hitters, younger guys, dynamic plays, guys that drive the balls into the gaps, and maybe prioritize consistency and versatility over through-the-moon talent, because a lot of the guys, even on the Yankees team right now, there's guys with through-the-moon talent, but they can't stay healthy. They're wildly inconsistent. And at the end of the day, I would take, consistent or a couple of consistent role players over that any day of the week, because they're going to be there on a regular basis, putting the team in a position to compete and win, and be there to make the routine plays, and so on. And that, there's a lot to be said for that. And if you look at some of the better Yankee teams, there was a lot of, whether it be guys like Nick Swisher and Scott Brocious, guys like that, they were consistent players. Not the sexy moves, not the big superstars, but they came every day. They stayed healthy, and they performed in many ways on the offensive and the defensive side and the leadership side, and just a lot of different ways. And they brought a different personality and a different vibrancy. And even Swisher was a switch hitter. Swisher was a switch hitter. And another switch hitter or two right now would do the Yankees, I think, some good, because it'll give them, Boone especially, an opportunity to be more creative with his lineups. And as much as, it's nice to hear him try to find the positives even in a dismal outing or a dismal week, they have to acknowledge, too, that the Yankees need to shake things up a little bit. And that's the bottom line. And, the sooner they do it, the better. And, the more proactive they're going to be, the better. And before other teams beat them to the punch, and there's nobody left available. And Cashman has a tendency to be very methodical and wait until almost the very end when it comes to the trading deadline. And, you know, hopefully that's not the case this year. He does make his biggest trades for the most part in his 20-plus years history as GM of the Yankees. His biggest trades as blockbusters have tended to happen in the off season, and not the trading deadline. But that doesn't mean he's not going to make one at the deadline or a couple of solid trades here. But something has to be done, and relying on the guys that come back who keep getting hurt, or relying on the home run to kind of tie the game up, it's not working. It's not working, and Taillon's getting better. Domingo Germán's getting better. Severino is now on the 30-day clock when his rehab assignment started, so he's projected to be back by July. But I would caution, throw air to the caution to the wind of not throwing him to the Wolves as a starting pitcher. I would go no more than long relief with him. He's coming back from Tommy John. This is not a broken bone. This is Tommy John. So, and we have multiple Tommy John cases on this team already. So, it would be a word of caution. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. I'm not the GM of the team, and it's not my money, but I would not throw him to the Wolves. I would go long relief and let him be, whether it be a spot starter or just a long relief guy, and be a bridge to the bullpen for some of these starters. And he could be, because he's generally dominant, and he's already touching 97 on the radar gun, so his arm's there, but it was also almost at that level before he had to shut it down for Tommy John surgery. So, but be careful there. And he's always been, dominant for several innings, and then sometimes he has a bad inning or falls apart. So I would let him throw those bullets over 3 or 4 innings quite a few times this year, over the summer and into the fall, and let the cards fall where they may. But, I would not risk his future just to try to get him back sooner because Kluber's out or whatever. We need another guy. This is where I would be careful if I were the GM. But, again, not the GM. So let me know what you guys think. That's the recap today. I mean, Red Sox were better. The pitching was better. The hitting was better. The Yankees had many opportunities, but they've blown them again. And they're in a really bad. They're following a really bad pattern at either letting a lot of pitch being called for a third strike and just looking at them, or swinging at horrible pitches outside the zone and striking out. That's something they need to change too. So they need to become better contact hitters. So, or need to bring in more contact hitters. And my next video is actually going to go into some detail about it. So take a look at that tomorrow morning, and I'll continue doing my recaps, and then I'll go back to my trade deadline proposal and kind of likely landing spots. And my next guy I'm going to talk about is Matthew Boyd, the left-handed ace from the Detroit Tigers. So be on the lookout for that too. And I appreciate your support. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your night. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Over and out.